everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this Patreon episode. As a reminder, Angela's on vacation right now, and we have a very special guest, my mom, Peggy Jones. Welcome, Mom.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm just so glad to be here.
Thank you. I have been wanting to have you on our podcast since we started.
Oh my, oh goodness. I hope I have something informative to give you, something that will be helpful.
Yeah, I know you're so worried about that, but just trust me. I think just right before this, you said I don't have all the answers.
No, I do not have all the answers.
And I don't know if you know this, but we say that on every episode.
Okay.
So we don't have the answers.
Feeling better already.
And even, I don't know if you know this, Mom, also, you probably don't, but we have episodes called Question and Process. And we don't even have the questions and the answers. We don't answer things. We process.
That is so good.
Yeah. Okay. So first, do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started?
Okay. I grew up in Bemidji.
Yeah, Bemidji, Minnesota. Yep. That's in northern Minnesota.
Northern Minnesota. In fact, that's where we are right now at our cabin on Lake Bemidji, and it's beautiful and it's wonderful.
Yep.
I grew up in a family. I have an older sister and then an older brother. Mm-hmm. And I also have a younger brother that's 8 years younger than myself. My dad owned a grocery store. My mom was a teacher. And we moved to Winthrop, both, Roger and myself, my husband and myself, and we were teachers, and we have lived there for about 52 years.
That's right.
Something like that. And life is good.
That's so great, Mom. Okay. So, and this actually, I'm glad you told us all about that because, well, I'm going to ask you more details about that now. Yeah. So You grew up in northern Minnesota in Bemidji.
Yes.
You lived there your whole life, right? I mean, your whole childhood.
I did. Yes.
What was your childhood like?
You know what? When I look back, I just had the best childhood ever. Yes, there was problems and issues all the time going on.
Of course.
But I grew up, my parents, and I'm finding out more and more, they wanted the best for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
I grew up, even though my parents weren't animal lovers, they allowed me to always have a dog, a cat. I've even had some birds. And of course, I think the first words that came out of my mouth was, I want a horse.
I know.
My dad owned a grocery store and we lived in town. Mm-hmm. But again, my parents, I love the way that they looked at all of, their children and work towards their interests and what they liked. And that's what my parents did.
That's amazing.
I had my horse. I had several growing up.
That's right.
Worked at my dad's grocery store in the produce department. And with that money, that paid for the rent for keeping my horse at the riding academy. When we, at about 5, my parents moved to a little closer to the college, but they thought they were living more towards out in the country because at the end of our block, there was this wonderful woods, and I would go walking in that woods by myself often. And
at 5, starting at 5.
Felt safe. We always felt safe. And of course, that woods now is a parking lot. But so in my parents owned a cabin, and so I was able to do water skiing and downhill skiing at Buena Vista, the ski resort, and but we always felt safe.
That's amazing.
About 8 blocks, and never needed a parent to take me.
Wow, what a difference! What a difference! I think that's maybe a big change just between your generation and well. Maybe when I was a kid, I walked around our little town a lot too. Not with as much freedom as you did though. Yeah. And now it's like so different.
It is
for our kids. Yeah.
To hear the rest of this episode, join us on Patreon at patreon.com/homeschoolunrefined. You'll unlock access to this episode and the rest of our Patreon episode archive.